Welcome to the Gentleman's Guide to Vampires. The Mekhet, or Mekhet, as you may incorrectly refer to us. Shadows on the wall. Advisors, spies, voyeurs, stalkers. That is how we are occasionally known in these nights, although that was not always the case. Once upon a time, the Mekhet were the followers of Seth, the protectors of the kindred, the priesthood of the kindred. We were the historians, we were the masterminds. Once upon a time, we were the Chaibits, the protectors of kindred against those abominable streaks and spirits, noumena of other world. Some say the Chaibit exist in some aberrant form in these nights, but I have yet to encounter one. It does not mean, however, that in these nights the Mekhet are nothing more than shadows. Certainly, for the most part, a good 90% by my calculation of Mekhet are nothing but weak saplings from a clan of strong oak. It's the Breakfast Club. You know the Ventru, he's the rich kid, the spoilt one. The Deva is clearly the whore, the slut, the one who wants to be seen, wants to be known. Gangrel, well, he's the jock that's being kept behind after class because he's desperate to impress everyone else. And the Nosferatu, well, he's probably done nothing wrong, but he is a geek. He is a bit of an outcast. Perhaps he brought a gun to school because he's determined to finally be taken seriously. Where does that leave the Mekhet? Well, with the teacher. We are the clan that is keeping the rest of them in check. We know of their sins. We know of their crimes. We are not an elected position. Mekhet make terrible princes, and even worse prefects. While it is the case that there are some cities here and there that claim to have a shadow for a prince, quite often, that Mekhet is nothing like the clan should be. Mekhets work best from the background. You know, other clans enjoy praying in nightclubs. The Deva, well, they will posture on the dance floor, they will seduce the kine, they will use their majesty on the mortals, they will lure them back to their pad and they will screw them as they feed. Nosferatu, he'll wait in the alley, just in the shadows, you know. He'll just pounce. It is a tactic with which I am familiar and sympathetic. After all, we are as gifted with shadow play as the Nosferatu, perhaps more so. The Gangrel, of course, he will look for the biggest, strongest looking challenge. Perhaps the girl that just won't let her hair down, or the man who's pumped up on some drug or other, and the Gangrel will enjoy a good hunt before the night is out. What do the Mekhet do? Well, we'll follow. We'll watch. We'll make sure that if that Gangrel is hunting down the actual blood child of the mayor, let's say, that maybe they'll get forewarning, or maybe we'll just use that information against them at a later date. Or we'll follow the Deva and his date. My preferred method is to, I suppose, fulfill the traditional role of the vampire. And while the Deva and his prey get, shall we say, passionate in the bedroom, I'll be waiting outside the window, or inside the wardrobe. Maybe on top of the wardrobe, or maybe even beneath the bed. You know, the Deva claim to be the only ones that can still feel passion. I do not have the carnal need to go and thrust into my prey as I sink my fangs into her neck, but I do like to watch. Something we Mekhet are frightfully good at, watching, taking note, learning. I can force myself to breathe it in. As the Deva goes pounding away on his victim, I'm watching as if with a magnifying glass. I can see her hairs stand up on her arm. I can see the sweat begin to bead on her forehead. I can actually smell the heady sweat, the combination of fluids, the pheromones that these two creatures of lust produce. I cannot feel live if I am in that moment, if I am one of the participants, but if I am watching it, it is as good as being alive. It really is. Of course, once the Deva is gone, and he has taken his mouth full of blood and disappeared into the night, that is when I will creep free from my hiding place. And perhaps I will drain that victim dry. And I will make my little note of the Deva that visited that night. And when that dead body gets found, I will present it by some means or other to that Deva, that you may be overfed, that this death is down to you. And then I will watch the tragedy unfold. Oh, the passions. The Deva will put it down to his weakness of the loins. The Deva will make every excuse. I'll just stack up the dominoes and watch them fall. You know, when I was embraced, it was not in the heat of passion. It was not through some, well, shall we say, typical embrace. The Mekhet have a secret that they do not like to share, but as you are a willing listener, I will regale you with it. And this is a truism for all clans, not just the Mekhets, but it is something only the Mekhets practice. The embrace, when you think of it, what do you think of the practicality of it? Do you imagine draining your victim dry of vitae, taking every mouthful, watching your abdomen swell as you overfeed, draining your victim until they have not one drop of blood left in their body, at which point you cut open your wrist, you drip a couple between the lips, and you bring them back, enduring the morality play that goes with it. Oh, the loss of integrity. Oh, the humanity. I killed someone and brought them into the night. Every other clan goes through this farcical ritual. Do you know how the Mekhet know that you can actually do it? If the corpse is not recently dead, you could visit a graveyard. Someone hit by a car, someone died of cancer, perhaps someone merely tripped and fell down the stairs. Maybe they were the victim of some foul murder, perhaps a drug overdose. It doesn't matter. You can exhume that body, or you can visit that morgue. You don't have to have killed that person. But if you've been watching them for a while, and you've been watching those dominoes stack up, and you've watched their life fall apart, well, you could save them after death. I was found on a slab. I'd been mugged, I'd been shot, I'd been killed. Didn't even have that much money on me, but I'm sure the mugger was more concerned with other things. My prospective sire had been interested in me for a long, long time, and perhaps he would have embraced me in the traditional way, but it was too late. I had been shot, and so he visited the morgue. I'd been dead for a good 12 hours. I was ready to be sent off to the funeral home. He pulled me out of the freezer. He dripped the blood between my lips. Lo and behold, I came back as a vampire. Did you even know that we could do that? He suffered no morality play. It was not his fault that I had died. He brought me back. He saved me. Because the Mekhet are saviours. Seth taught us much, and that is that our vitae is a gift. This is why I hold to the methodology of the Ordo Dracul. The vitae is a gift, and we can use it as a weapon, as a tool. We are not slaves to our whims. We are in control of them, especially within this clan of shadows. Certainly we have weaknesses. Some say the Mekhet do not cast a reflection, or cast a shadow, or appear on recording devices. All I know is that I am particularly loath to expose myself to bright light, and yet I do enjoy bodily heat. I feel so cold when I am not close to it. Reflections, though, shadows, though. Mekhet do cast shadows, do cast reflections. But those reflections and shadows have a mind of their own. That is our actual curse, you know. When we are embraced, it is only half of us that get brought over. If you believe that the soul is divided into multiple parts, as Seth made clear in history of old, that one is torn apart, but when one is brought back, just as Lilith in the ancient myth, it is not all of one that gets put back together. So what happens to the rest? Does it just float in the ether? No. It can practice all manner of malign deeds in your name and your image. Much of Mekhet activity is to do with healing after one's own shadow's transgressions. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? You know, the Nosferatu would have you believe that they are the most well-informed clan in these nights. The Nosferatu do not remember what we remember. The Nosferatu do not know who formed the Circle of the Crone, or who the Crone was. We have a fairly good idea. We have a bloodlines dedicated to memory, to remembrance of ancient Egypt, of ancient Greece, of ancient Rome. We remember when there was no Ventru. We remember the Camarilla. We, in Clan Mekhet, know the Requiem, and through knowledge we control it. We do not need to sit on a throne to control little child. A pen is mightier than a sword among our kind. For little tales that are told, if they have a little grain of truth, can bring an entire city to its knees. One rumour spread here, one falsehood spread there, peppered with the occasional truth. It may be wrong to say that we thrive on chaos, but I cannot deny that I enjoy it. Truly, we are the most powerful clan in these nights. We may not have unity, but we have history. We remember.